Welcome to the Art Lady's Home. Today I am going to show you how I completed my ultimate garage makeover. At one point I couldn't even walk through this garage. There was so much stuff in here. And I took everything out and reorganized it, and I'm going to show you exactly how I did it. The materials I used for this renovation were 26 2x4s and 3 sheets of plywood. This shelving unit used approximately 16 2x4s and 2 sheets of plywood. And this area, I used the rest of the 2x4s, scrap wood I had in my garage. You can see here on this fishing area how I used 2x4s in the back to support the shelves. So those were all just pieces of scrap that I had cut. This is my original mess on this wall. Things just piled up. The shelves weren't made properly, so things would fall off. And this area just got so cluttered, things just piled up on top of each other, and I couldn't even walk through this space. At this point, I could barely squish down this little aisle between the cabinets and my car. And this is when I said, enough is enough. I need to reorganize my whole garage. So my goal is to basically take as much of the stuff out as I can. I'm going to leave some valuables just so that, like stuff that I don't want to get stolen, like pressure washers and things, inside while I'm redoing this. And I'm going to put everything basically in my driveway. And I've bought some tarps to cover it up. But this is 30 years of literally collecting junk. The first thing I'm going to do today is take this back wall, put all of the things in the back wall into the driveway. I'm giving an update. I'm almost 2 hours in. And I've piled a lot of stuff in the boat and under the boat. But here's the table. You can see how I'm stacking it under. And then I have the tarp partially covered as I'm stacking. And the totes are on the bottom so that they're protected from the rain runoff from the garage. So a total of almost 3 hours. And I'm going to take a break. I started clearing a little bit over here. And then I'm going to show you. There's a few things moved from here. And then I'm going to show you what I stacked, which is crazy. But anyways, there's the update. This is day 2 of the garage renovation, and I worked 4 hours today moving the bottom cabinets. And I did have to clear all the area that was underneath the cabinets in the back wall, so I did that. And this is the same space that was before I started cleaning the garage. And I moved some big shelving over here. And this was 4 hours today, and I'm beat, so I'm going to stop for the day. This is what I've done today. I've taken all the shelving and all the supports off this back wall. And I've kind of demolished this wall here, this mini wall. And I'm making a bigger entrance here for a door. So I'm enlarging this door, going into the laundry room. But I'm already liking the space. It's already excited about how it's going to come out. So I can't wait to tackle the tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm planning on replacing that door, making it bigger, the opening, and then starting my shelving units tomorrow. Right now I am starting the shelving units. I made the boxes, basically a rectangle, and then I put some braces in the middle. I measured 18 inches and then I cut these scrap pieces of wood. You can see they look like legs. And that's how I attached it to the wall to make sure it was evened. I used a level because I want to make sure that the attachment to the back wall is exactly level. It's real important that they're attached to the studs so it doesn't fall off the wall. And so that's what I've gotten done so far. First shelf on, and it fits perfect. But it feels great to get one of the shelves finally finished. And I had the shelves cut 24 inches wide at Lowe's. I want to show you the progress of what I did yesterday. And this is after 7 hours of doing it. And I worked by myself. And I'm a 58. So this is what a 58-year-old can do by themselves in 7 hours. But I'm really proud of myself because this is pretty level. It's actually very level and straight and square, and it's done properly. Today I worked 3 hours and I started organizing. I put up the top shelf and then I screwed in all the plywood on the shelves. And I'm just going through and sorting things. And I fixed this area here. This is day 9, and I want to show you what I've done so far. And I'm planning on actually painting those plastic bins so that they are all the same color. The left side of the garage is what I tackled next, and this is what it looked like before I started clearing everything out. So the first thing I did, of course, is take everything out, and then I'm going to prepare this wall for paint. So I removed all the previous shelving, and then I gave it a coat of a blue paint. And then I started building the shelves. And today I'm going to build this wall shelf. And for this shelf in here, I'm going to have a countertop, and I'm also going to have a place for my lawnmower. So I can just wheel it in and park it. That's what I'm planning out right here. Here's where the lawnmower in the very corner is going, and then I framed out this wood storage area and workbench. And now I'm going to work on some of the shelves, and then I'll show you what it looks like when that's done. To make the countertop here, I basically just framed out a box in the 2x4s, and then I made 2x4 shelf supports, the length I want my shelves to be. You see how I angle cut the back 2x4 so that I could leave room for the molding that already existed in the garage. Right here. And then on the top, I just used a 1x4 for this box because it's not going to support much. It's just going to be lightweight wood molding at the top that I'm supporting. So I just used some of that scrap stuff I already had. This is where the lawnmower will go. I'm going to push it underneath the bottom shelf. And then the air compressors on the top. And then the pressure washers in the middle with all the pressure washing supplies on that shelf. So it tucks away neatly. And then I'm still going to put another shelf above this air compressor and then one on the very top. And then this area, I'm going to have several shelves and a workbench right here, countertop, and then another shelf inside here. So that's what I've got done today so far. So here's the workshop area from a distance here. And I still have quite a bit of a mess in my driveway. And here it is at the end of day 10. And today I did 4.5 hours, so that was pretty good. And what I did was I set all these cabinets in place. And these were cabinets that had come out of my kitchen after a kitchen remodel. And so they were just rough cut and not very neatly trimmed, so I trimmed them up. And then I put on the cabinet countertops. And then I did the countertop on this workbench here with an extra piece I had from the kitchen. And then I did the top shelf of the area near my pressure washer. So I installed that. And it's getting little by little cleaned up, so I'm pretty excited. I think I might put a shelf along that spackling line, or the joint line, and another shelf underneath the middle cabinets. So there's 10, day 10. Yesterday I took a day off. I was just so exhausted. But the day before I didn't video, and this is what I did. I think I worked about 6.5 hours the day before. And I'll show you what I did here. I painted, I finished up some shelves, and then I put the very top shelf on. It's hard to see, but it's at the very, very top. And it extends to the cabinets here. So I got a little bit more organized. Today I started organizing the bins. And I actually gave them a very light coat of spray paint, just so that they're uniform in color. You can see the top shelf is done, and then I'm going to do the rest down here. I finished painting, or using the rest of the can, Krylon Matte Ink Blue, and it did 8 bins, but it just did the front of the bin and a little bit of the sides and a little bit of the top. And I didn't do the whole bin at all, just to save on spray paint. But I do need a couple more cans to finish up the rest of the bins. But that's the bins, and I really like the color. And I'm going to... After I did the wood bins, then I worked on some trim and molding on the edges of these shelves here on the workbench. And then I put up another shelf directly underneath these cabinets with scrap wood. You can see how it's just pieced together. And then I used some scrap molding and put it on the front. That's the white board. And then I added a shelf to one of these cabinets on the inside. And that's about it. After working 6 straight hours, I'm going to stop today. But it seems like I didn't do much. Oh, and I did add some tools and organize this area a little bit here. This is a pegboard on this side of the shelf. It's kind of hard to see, but I put up some of the tools hanging as I'm using the tools and don't need them anymore. Then I put them back on this pegboard here to store things. So I'm using storage on this side, and then I also have pegboard storage here if I'm going to use it. I'm not sure yet, but that's what I did today. This is the corner I'm working on right now. It's going to be the garden center. And it's going to hold some large yard tools, as well as my bikes. So I'll show you what I've built up this morning. I'm built basically just a box. And then inside the box, I put a 2x4 for support. And so I'm going to mount that on the wall, and it's going to help store my yard tools. Yesterday I did about 5 hours probably. And I painted this little corner and built this little shelf up here. It was just a simple box. And then I painted everything. And I just used scrap paint that I had. I mixed a few gallons. And then I finished painting this area. I basically just painted the front of this shelf area and some of the side posts, because it's going to be filled with stuff anyways. And in the future, if I need to paint the shelves, I will. But for now, I just did the faces. So that's what I did yesterday. This is what it looks like after 2 more days of working. I started bringing back everything that was in my driveway and started putting things away. I still have to paint this wall here, but I wanted to get the things that are in my driveway out of my driveway as quickly as I can. So I'm starting to put back sections that are done. And I started organizing this area here. And I repainted the workbench. And I also rebuilt it a little bit. I put new tops on and made some sides so it can support all of my storage of the wood. So that's basically what I've done in the last 9 hours. Today I worked on this corner, and it's going to be the little fishing area where I keep all of the items for fishing for my son. I put up the shelf here, and then I put up all the brackets on the walls to hold all the equipment that he needs for fishing. There's a little U-hook that holds the trolling motor, and then I used this long bracket that has clips at the top for the oars and some smaller fishing poles. And then there's storage at the top for his odds and ends. And then I just extended the shelf support so that it could support the nets and his other things that he needs for fishing. So it's just all organized. I also did a bit of painting. I painted the back wall under the cabinets so that I can start organizing the shelf that's below the cabinets tomorrow. And here is the completed garage makeover, and I'm so excited about it. I have a big space that's in the middle here, which is opened, which that was my goal. And then I have a nice work area back here. And I was excited that I was able to put all of my stuff back in without having a mound in the middle of this room. And I'll just show you here the garden center area. And this area I gotta organize a little bit more. I'm gonna go through for the yard sale, but basically the structure is what it's gonna be. And I have to finish painting. And then this is the wall area with the bins. And I'm gonna eventually get rid of those 4 bins and consolidate. And then this is the little fishing nook that I made for my son, which I was really excited about, and he likes it. It's where he can just put all of his stuff in this corner, so it's all organized. And before, this whole wall had the old counters, and it was just jam-packed, and I couldn't get anything or have access to anything. It was just a big, literally, pile. And I had to squish between my car and the wall or the counters, and it was hard to get in and out of. But now it's all neatly organized. So I'm really thrilled about how I did this. I'm going to rip up all the carpet. It was just throw rugs anyways, and put them out to the garbage. And I'm debating on painting the floor or not. I'm not sure. I'm hoping that this has inspired you to start cleaning out your garage. And again, this took about 1 month to do, and I worked on it probably three weeks of the month. And I'm not going to lie, it was physically exhausting. I was physically exhausted doing this. I'm 58, and to complete it, if I worked 7-hour days straight, I was pretty exhausted at the end of the day, especially with all the building and construction that I had here. But very rewarding, and I absolutely love being so organized now, especially in my retirement. I can go to my projects, and if I want to make a project, I can just go right to it. I don't have to search in my garage, and it's just helped me feel a lot better. So if you like this video, don't forget to click the like button, and if you want to see more of this type of content, don't forget to subscribe.